Good afternoon, and thank you for viewing this presentation from the Great Falls team. On our team, we have Michelle Fagenstrom, Lindsay Godwin, Samantha Schinneberger, and myself, Adam Osborne. Together, we created a Hilton business case for Hilton Hotels and Resorts. So we wanted to take the existing Hilton Honors app and find a way to improve it, make it better. The Hilton Honors app currently allows users and guests to track their loyalty points, book rooms, and change some of their details, view their ledgers, and it also allows them to use it as a key, the application itself as a key to get into parking garages and in some locations, their room itself. Google Assistant is a cross-platform artificial intelligence program. It's part of Google's cloud, and it's available currently on the app market. It's available on mobile devices, home speakers, televisions, wearables, and computers as well. So what we wanted to organize was a way to take this proprietary information that Google holds very close and create a partnership to improve the Hilton Honors app. And this development would be Google Hilton. This strategic partnership for developing this product would have a lot of benefits for both Google and Hilton. So the first part of the Google Hilton experience would be checking in. The old process of checking in is now outdated. People are no longer checking into their rooms. They're going to be logging into their rooms. This is something that can be done just like currently when you check in for a flight. You can log into your hotel room before you're even there. When you log in, Google Assistant will communicate with your existing devices and transmit that information to the Hilton app that will control the smart devices located in your room. So what this means is that before you even arrive, you can set your preferences for your room. You can adjust the temperatures to something that you prefer. You can dim the lights, draw the shades, even have some music playing for you before you even open your door. So this information is transmitted via your Google login information. Some people don't have a Google login information. In those cases where we have these Google Assistant, Google Hilton smart locations, they'll create a temporary file for these individuals that they can allow to carry over into their existing assistant or choose to create a profile with Google. So part of this means that when you use the Google Assistant application in your everyday lives, it saves and retains your login information for lots of different sites, including Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Amazon, and Google Assistant will carry over those preferences into your room. So when you enter your room, you can speak to Google Hilton, which is a speaker located in the room, and that's connected to all the other smart devices in the room. And you can ask it to play the latest episode of Stranger Things on Netflix. The TV would kick on, automatically find where you were in that series on Netflix and start playing the next episode. You can ask it to change the volume, and you can also ask Google Assistant to turn off your TV completely. You can also ask it to pull up your profile on Spotify and start playing one of your favorite mixes over the in-room sound system. If it's feeling a little dark, you can ask Google Assistant to draw the shades with smart motorized shades and set the temperature as well. So if you're feeling a little cold, tell Google Hilton, it's cold in here, please raise the temperature up 3 degrees, kick on the thermostat, and raise that up a little bit. Google Assistant also allows for a new age of room service. This advanced room service is going to communicate with other applications through the internet and provide the next level of room service. This includes like a food delivery. Hilton currently has a strategic partner with Uber, and it would be very easy to leverage that strength into another service, Uber Eats. Guests could go online, find a hotel or a restaurant near the hotel, and place an order, and Uber Eats would be able to deliver that to the Hilton location and bring it up to their room with one command through Google Assistant. So in this case, we would be able to maintain Uber Eats Uber as a strategic partner and use their Uber Eats program, and seamlessly integrate all this with the assistant so that the guest is just making one simple command. It also allows Hilton the opportunity to increase our room services that we currently provide. When a guest can call down and ask for a crib for their room, or they want some breakfast from the restaurant located inside our resorts and our hotels, they can just make that with their Google Assistant, and the order will be placed and charged to their room. And there's also another feature that we are pretty excited about. It's in case of emergency. So recently there have been some pretty devastating emergencies across the U.S. located at gathering centers, conventions, and hotels. So Google Assistant integration that will be integrated with your wearables, your smartphone, in the rooms and the speaker systems and the Hilton building system will allow the fastest response capable with emergency services. A massive email could be sent out to everybody who's currently checked in at a hotel if there's ever an emergency event. Recently there was a shooting situation in Las Vegas. The Google Assistant, Hilton Google Assistant integration will be able to notify guests that there is an emergency, and it can do this, override their systems through user permissions in their phone, their wearables, or in their room, let them know of what the situation is, what actions to take, and how to be safe.
Thank you, Adam. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about market analysis. In order to prepare for the Google Assistant technology implementation into the Hilton Honors app, we need to better understand the market analysis for the Hilton. The Hilton has quite a few competitors in the hospitality industry, so standing out from their competitors is an important component. Hilton is well known for their innovation and the integration of technology, and that continues to set them apart from their competitors and is a strength that they have. The Hilton will be able to take advantage of their current targeted customers in their established hotels, which includes, but is not limited to, the Canopy, DoubleTree, and the Hilton Garden Inn. By being able to utilize these existing established hotels, the Hilton will be able to target their audience that they desire, which includes the young travelers, business leaders, and vacationers. The Hilton will continuously monitor their competition and evolve as needed in order to keep up with the latest technology and innovation and advances throughout the hospitality industry. The marketing strategy for the Google Assistant implementation at the Hilton will follow a similar marketing strategy that the Hilton has used in the past for previous campaigns. Partnering with Google on a marketing rollout for the implementation would be beneficial to the campaign, but not entirely necessary as long as the Hilton has Google's permission to use their brand. Google would have the ability, though, to market in other industries that the Hilton may not have reached before, and not to mention their budget as well would be beneficial to tap into. The Hilton will begin establishing a threefold campaign launch to include internal, television, and mobile marketing. A sample ad on this slide gives you an idea of where we would like to see this campaign go, partnering with Google. In the past campaigns, the Hilton has utilized a promotional event as well, which is also very powerful among their frequent travelers. By launching a promotional campaign, the Hilton can push out their Google Assistant partnership using their customer base at no cost other than the promotional campaign itself. Using hashtags on social media and opening up the sweepstakes to consumers around the world would push out the Hilton campaign to friends and family all over the world.
Thanks, Sam. The Hilton will need to prepare the organization for the implementation of Google Assistant technology by promoting throughout their locations and by systematically approaching and ensuring the organization is staffed with the appropriate number of people with the right skill set. A larger technology implementation, such as Google Assistant and all that it entails, will require a high level of senior executive involvement. The importance of having the executive team present during the contract negotiation with Google demonstrates how critical a partnership of this magnitude would be. Christopher Nassetta, CEO and President of Hilton Hotels, would be at the helm of the implementation plan, and the rest of the team would be comprised of the Director of Information Technology, the Director of Marketing, Director of Guest Services, and other directors chosen by these individuals. The final plans for the project rollout would be presented to the corporate executive team for approval. The Google Assistant implementation team would need a development team at its core, as well as members from Google experienced with Google's proprietary programming language. The IT team would need additional people with experience in all common web-based applications and programming languages. In some cases, an additional IT person may be needed to be added to each hotel system to ensure the product is working properly. If there are any technology issues, the person on site would be responsible for overseeing maintenance. There will also be a need for on-site IT services to tackle troubleshooting and maintenance of equipment and services. The additional IT demand could be met by hiring full-time Hilton IT staff or by contracting through a third-party IT service. Hilton's corporate lawyers would be responsible for working with the legal teams of each contracted partner to ensure all necessary documents are completed accordingly. The legal team may need to grow by a few employees to accommodate the new contracts and additional meetings necessary. Information and technology specialty lawyers would focus on terms, conditions, and agreements, while digital privacy lawyers would need to be contracted for this project. The preliminary schedule has been prepared for the Google Assistant launch to ensure that milestones are met. The overall implementation will serve as a plan that investors, management, and leadership can follow to track deadlines and goals. In the planning and development stage, this should take approximately 7 weeks and include the necessary steps to finalize the implementation plan laid out in this proposal. The hardware, software, communications, etc. should be strategically reviewed to prepare for implementation, including product evaluation and environmental concerns. During this time, human resources would begin recruiting for the necessary positions required to complete the Google Assistant project. During programming, which will encompass the entire 24 weeks, IT will begin handling programming of the Hilton Honors app with strategically identified applications using the most common backdoor programming languages. Necessary languages include, but are not limited to, Java, C++, Rails, Ruby, Python, etc. Next is the third-party contracting phase, which will last 9 weeks. Hilton and Google will need to finalize the partnership agreement and procure third-party contracts as needed. During this phase of the project, the Hilton will provide the guidelines for interface requirements for local product and service providers. Many third-party contracts will be on a local level and at the discretion of property owners. The marketing campaign will begin and last approximately 23 weeks. Hilton and Google will complete the marketing campaign as outlined previously within the marketing strategy. In the building infrastructure phase, which will last 12 weeks, Hilton will contract with Amazon Web Services for additional servers and processing required to run the Google Assistant, Hilton Honors interface, and complete any hardware upgrades to the existing Hilton databases as needed. The guidelines for the new Hilton properties will be completed during this phase to allow for the implementation of smart device features in guest rooms. Existing guest rooms will be upgraded during this time in accordance with property owners' and managers' preferences. The installation phase, lasting 8 weeks, individual properties will require the necessary hardware and server upgrades. Smart devices will be installed in rooms in preparation for the soft launch. Testing at this point will last 2 weeks and include in-house and consultant-level protocols testing the programming and product features. Next comes the soft launch, lasting 2 weeks. During this, Hilton and Google will analyze the deficiencies of the Google Assistant Hilton Honors interface and make corrections prior to the full launch. The soft launch will be completed in several metropolitan areas. During this time, many IT components may require changes to business processes, and these changes will be implemented prior to the full launch. Google Assistant training will be important for team members to familiarize themselves with the new program, and implementation training will be completed close to the time when the project is rolled out. Lastly is our full launch, lasting 1 week. This will encompass deploying the Google Assistant program company-wide. This does not include the official date that the service will be available for every location, but rather the dates the program will be available to everyone. The implementation of the program would be at the discretion of individual property owners for installation. The initial approach would be US-based and continue to develop in the US for the first 1 to 2 years until the program is prepared for global deployment. As you can see in the table provided, the project costs for the Google Assistant adoption would require an initial investment of $30 million. As far as the revenue sources are concerned, the Google Assistant interface offers opportunities to share in revenue with strategic partners. The Hilton could leverage a closed marketplace through the Hilton Honors app controls, allowing Hilton to require authorized service providers to be accessible through the interface. The Google Assistant interface also provides an opportunity to generate revenue through service fees to the guest for services they want from Hilton. This includes package management for delivery of items from package processing centers such as Amazon. Hilton could also attach a service fee to all purchased media files during the stay through the Hilton Honors app. This would be a modernization of the pay-per-view that traditionally provides Hilton with increased revenue. In terms of the Hilton's financial future, Hilton's return would be based on the assumed profits from increased customer loyalty and ancillary services. Without clear-cut revenues, it is difficult to calculate a return on investment. However, with projected expenses of $30 million, Hilton would need to increase their revenue by $1.5 million every year to break even in 20 years. With a debt of $10.8 billion in 2016, this may not be the most financially advantageous project.
As with any project, it's important to evaluate the risks you are taking on. Hilton has the risk of a failed partnership with Google, failed project startup or long-term survival, and risk to their brand's reputation. The entirety of the project is based on a relationship with Google. Google may reject a partnership with Hilton, which would alter the whole scope of the project. While Hilton could accomplish similar goals, customer service goals, with services that offer automated controls, the whole purpose is to have guests link their Google accounts that travel with them from one hotel to the next. But even with an exclusive agreement for the Google Assistant technology, Hilton cannot prevent other hotel chains from installing technology that can gain access to Google accounts. If Google does agree to a partnership, the unique features that set apart their Google Assistant Hilton from a regular Google Assistant on your phone would be the third-party partnerships. If Hilton cannot secure these other strategic partners, the Google Assistant feature will not be worthwhile to guests. Also, technology can be fickle. Any issues in installation or startup would be costly and set the project back on its timeline. Google Assistants may incur unforeseen upkeep expenses throughout the years and will need updating as Google improves their own technology and software. The project itself may be obsolete in just a few years if better technology is developed and released. The kind of technology Hilton is looking to incorporate leaves them open to security and privacy breaches. Luckily, Google stores all their data collected through a secure network and will be responsible for any breaches on their end. However, Hilton would still be vulnerable with the data that is stored and collected from their agreements to be used for research, quality assurance, or guest service improvements. With that being said, Hilton is also currently billions of dollars in debt. They don't have the luxury to spend money on risky projects or lawsuits when they have mediocre returns on investment projected for the Google Assistant project. On top of all that, if Hilton tries to implement but fails to successfully add the Google Assistant services, their reputation as a technology leader may take a substantial hit. Hilton may be criticized for their lack of funding, vision, and execution of their project. If they manage to incorporate Google Assistants into hotels across the United States but do not improve their guest services, Hilton would lose credibility and possibly brand loyalty. This loss of brand loyalty would negatively impact their strong market share in the United States, possibly giving shares to their main competitor, Marriott. Hilton does not have a strong global presence yet, and a blow of this kind to their reputation may keep them from expanding within the global market. After assessing the depth of involvement this project would entail, we feel it would be best not to collaborate with Google for Google Assistant Hilton. The concept itself has potential and will likely be standard for the future of the hospitality industry. However, there are many alternative technology improvements both in-room and behind the scenes that would be more financially feasible for Hilton. The installment of Google Assistants would be costly to the franchise owners, and Hilton would do better to start with small improvements to their current features that could be accomplished over time and at a lower cost. This includes possible improvements to their Hilton Honors app. They could slowly build guest services and loyalty perks as they add more features to their application and loyalty program. With Hilton's current debt and the poor prediction of revenue from this project, we don't feel that a partnership with Google for a Google Assistant Hilton would be the best financial choice or logical choice for Hilton.